Wait, you gotta hear this. What does Cathy Engelbert have against the city of Boston? So what is going on out there? What is going on out there? What is good on the internet? What is good in life? What is good in sports? What is good? The name's Akeem Balaam. Doing a twofer today. So if you saw my earlier video that I released having to do with all of this freak out about how NFL teams are doing a bit more advertising of the fact that they're having male cheerleaders on their teams, definitely for sure check out that video whenever you get the chance, because as well as check out some of the social media posts about this topic. I mean, it is absolute comedy hour. It is absolute comedy hour. The collective freak out that Manosphere Twitter and Manosphere, just Instagram is having about this particular topic. Oh my God, I'm looking on the sidelines, and instead of seeing a bunch of, long blonde or brunette or redhead women, I'm seeing men dancing with them. Oh my God, the sky is falling. Yeah, it really isn't. You're just emotional, and you're just one of those types that loves to put that emotional tag on women. But aside from that, definitely check out that video. But speaking of videos, I wanted to do a second one today, and this one is more closely near and dear to my heart, given the fact that I do cover the WNBA. So apparently, we all know what happened after last season. The Connecticut Sun suffered yet another heartbreaking exit from the playoffs. And that has been something that unfortunately has defined the Connecticut Sun for much of their recent existence. The Connecticut Sun have always been that team that has always, they've always, got close to grabbing that brass ring, but they couldn't climb up that one more rung. They were close to grabbing the briefcase, but they couldn't climb up that one more rung. As soon as they were about to grab the briefcase, they got pushed down to the floor below through a set of tables. So that's been the Connecticut Sun for much of their recent existence. Well, after this past playoff exit where they were eliminated by the Minnesota Lynx, all of a sudden a mass exodus left their team. Alyssa Thomas left, now with the Phoenix Mercury. DeWanna Bonner left, was originally with the Indiana Fever and is now also with the Phoenix Mercury. Dejanay Carrington left, was originally with at first with the Dallas Wings, now is with the Minnesota Lynx. So Brianna Jones left to the Atlanta Dream. Darius Taylor, who, if I remember correctly, was the former general manager, he took a job down at Texas A&M where his wife, Joni, just so happens to be the head coach. Stephanie White, the former head coach of the Connecticut Sun, is now the head coach of the Indiana Fever, coaching Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. So there was a mass exodus from the Connecticut Sun, and apparently where there was smoke, there was fire, because apparently the Mohegan Tribe, the entity that owns the Connecticut Sun, apparently they decided, you know what, we are going to put the team on the market. And with that for sale sign that was put in front of the team, apparently they started getting a lot of interest, including from Steve Pagliuca, reportedly, I believe a minority owner of the Boston Celtics, who wanted to buy the team for $325 million with the intent on moving the Connecticut Sun to Boston. Not only that, but it has also been revealed in recent reports that Marc Lasry, the former minority owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, also put in a bid. Lasry, by the way, is a native of Connecticut. Lasry also put in a bid. In fact, the most recent reports have said that he has matched the Pagliuca offer of $325 million, but he wants to keep the Connecticut Sun in Connecticut. He wants to move them to Hartford, Connecticut. And the way that this is being handled by Cathy Engelbert, I have to say, has been so haphazard because reportedly multiple reports, and there have been reports from the Boston Globe on this story. There have been reports from Sports Business Journal on this story. Annie Costabile at Front Office Sports has been reporting a lot on this story. And one of the things that has come out ever since is that Cathy Engelbert, for some reason, has not presented either the Pagliuca deal or the Lasry deal to the WNBA's Board of Governors. And that is something that completely raises a lot of eyebrows because $325 million is not some type of money that the WNBA is used to seeing. This is a record amount. And the thing is, $325 million. You want to know why Cathy Engelbert did not present this to the Board of Governors? She did not present this to the Board of Governors because more than likely, and when I say this, I mean either the Pagliuca deal or the Lasry deal. You want to know why either one of those teams or either one of those deals was not presented to the BOG? Because Cathy Engelbert knew more than likely that the BOG was going to approve either the Pagliuca deal or the Lasry deal. But for some reason, the way that the WNBA is trying to spin this, like, okay, Pagliuca nor Lasry applied for an expansion franchise, so we're going to deny them relocation. And see, here's the thing. I would understand Cathy Engelbert's thinking in most cases, but not in this case because of the market. See, if you're a Boston owner, if you're a prospective owner that wants to bring a WNBA franchise to Boston, then why go through all the backbreaking work of putting together an expansion bid when there's literally a team right there in your backyard in the Connecticut Sun that really, when you think about it, it would make the most sense for them to move to Boston. Like, if you look at the recent history of the Connecticut Sun, they have tried, and remember, the Connecticut Sun weren't always the Connecticut Sun. I believe it was in the early 2000s, they were actually the Orlando Miracle. Then they were purchased by the Mohegan Tribe and moved to Connecticut. But let's remember something about this. The Connecticut Sun in recent years have tried to brand themselves as New England's team. And if you're going to be New England's team, then you better have a foothold in New England's flagship market of Boston. And that's something that would make a lot of sense. I mean, the last few years, actually, the Connecticut Sun have even played one game at the TD Garden in Boston, the home of the Boston Celtics. And one thing about the Pagliuca bid is that Pagliuca, he plans to have the team play home games in other New England cities. I would imagine a Connecticut city, probably Hartford, would hypothetically be on that list. Possibly, one could also say that maybe Providence could also potentially be on that list of cities that the team would play in. So it would make sense for them to move to Boston. And not only that, it would also be one of those situations where by moving to Boston, they would keep a significant portion of the fan base that they have built throughout New England. So it would not make any sense for any prospective Boston owners to apply for an expansion franchise when the Connecticut Sun are literally sitting right there. This is not like Golden State. This is not like Toronto. This is not like Detroit. This is not like Cleveland. This is not like Philadelphia, all of which have been granted expansion franchises. So this is a different case because of the fact that the Connecticut Sun are right there and they are pretty much trying to fill that New England hole because of the fact that there is currently no team in Boston. So I do not understand how Cathy Engelbert is handling this. But on top of everything else, the most recent reports that have come out that have suggested that the potential preferred destination for the Connecticut Sun is Houston, Texas. And Tillman Fertitta, who is the owner of the Houston Rockets, but not only is he the owner of the Houston Rockets, this guy is in the Trump administration, if I remember correctly, as the U.S. ambassador to Italy. So now you're going into some murky political waters where now it's one of those situations where you're potentially putting the WNBA, potentially bringing somebody from the Trump administration into the WNBA in Tillman Fertitta. Now, here's the thing. I understand that there is so much after the initial expansion bids of Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly were announced. I remember Cathy Engelbert saying something about how, we're keeping an eye on Houston. I guess this is what they meant. And I understand that there are lots of folks that want to see the return of the Houston Comets. I want to see the return of the Houston Comets. After all, they were the original dynasty of the WNBA. Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, Tina Thompson. I want to see the Houston Comets come back. But my thing is this. Do we really want to see the Houston Comets come back like this? Where effectively you are going ahead and you are screwing an entire region potentially out of your team, all because you're wedded to some arcane expansion/relocation process where it seems as though that the rules are pretty much being made up as we go along. And my thing is this. Cathy Engelbert needs to understand that she is, no pun intended, playing with fire. Because my thing is this, the same way that Canada was teased with the Canada game every single year, and then it resulted in Toronto being given a franchise that's going to debut next year, the Toronto Tempo. The same way Canada was teased, Boston has been teased as well with this Boston game. So let me get this straight. You tease Boston every single year with the Boston game. It looks like that they are on the fast track to getting a franchise. And now all of a sudden out of nowhere, you're going to pull the rug under them just because Boston didn't apply for expansion and relocate them to another part of the country. Now, I understand that other part of the country is definitely starved for more WNBA basketball. And it would create an intra-Texas rivalry between Houston and the Dallas Wings. But my thing is this. Do you really want to screw over an entire region? And then on top of it, and when I say entire region, I mean New England. And then on top of everything else, Boston, anybody who knows, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that Boston is a very passionate city when it comes to basketball. Boston is a city that could be very, 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 very integral to the WNBA's long-term growth. And here is Cathy Engelbert potentially pissing off that entire area, pissing off all of Boston, pissing off all of New England. And I remember seeing something as well where maybe Cathy Engelbert is going to extend an olive branch, where maybe they get a team possibly in 2033. Cathy Engelbert is running the risk of Boston, especially after the way that they've been teased the last few years with the Boston game. Cathy Engelbert is running the risk of potentially things getting potentially Boston becoming so apathetic towards the WNBA and feeling so burnt by the WNBA that it could be one of those situations where the WNBA, where Cathy Engelbert, or rather Boston, could very well just tell the WNBA to basically screw off. So that is the risk that Cathy Engelbert, and I don't understand if she understands this, but that is the risk that Cathy Engelbert is running if it's a situation where Boston does indeed get the rug pulled out from under them because these deals weren't even presented to the Board of Governors. So that is a big risk that Cathy Engelbert is playing. She is, no pun intended, playing with fire with these Connecticut Sun developments. So that's my take on the bit. Rate, comment, react, reply, add, and subscribe. Look forward to reading your comments. Once again, I'm just one guy just trying to set the record straight, because as much as there needs to be a team in Houston, it does not need to come at the expense of screwing over an entire region in New England out of their franchise. So once again, rate, comment, react, reply. Until next time, I'm Akeem Balaam signing off. See you till next time on the internet someplace.